My name is Lindy Joy Allen. I was born March 24th, 2003 at the Gibson Area Hospital in Gibson City, Illinois. I have a mom named Lisa, a dad named Scott, and a brother named Seth, who is 3 years older than me. Now let's skip all the boring parts of me growing up. Ever since I was about 6 years old, I never wanted to step on the cracks on the ground because I truly thought they would break my mother's back, and I didn't want that to happen. A couple years later, I realized it wasn't true, but I still can't get myself to step on the cracks without this awful feeling in my stomach. Then when I would fill up a water bottle or a glass with water, I would count down until I thought it would fill up by. I would count down from 10, and I would have to start over until I got it right. I would dump out the glass if I didn't. I thought these things were normal until I realized that I was the only one doing these things. When I would go to school, if I ever told the teacher I needed to go to the bathroom or get a drink, and I would go to my locker, I would get this awful feeling in my stomach. Whenever I lie, even if it's a small lie, I get this awful feeling in my stomach and I feel my face get warm. As I grew up, I had more and more tendencies to do weird things I had no control over. I would count walking around my house and walking around to different rooms, hoping that I would count the right amount. Around that time, I'd also time out everything I did. I would have to shower, brush my teeth, brush my hair, and get dressed all within a few minutes. I would decipher how long each one took by the amount of time it usually takes. If I didn't do these things within the right time frame, I would get frustrated with myself and have to try to go faster to make up the time. Whenever I used the microwave, I could only stop at numbers that ended in 0 or 5. I would often let the microwave finish, even if the food was done, because something told me to do this. If I saw someone stop it at an odd time, I would cringe and clear the microwave so I couldn't see it. When I turned 12 and started 6th grade, I started to get more stressed about school, and I had more compulsions for things I couldn't control. When I would mop the kitchen for my mom, I would take out the chairs from the kitchen to clean underneath. I would have to do the same routine cleaning the floor every time because I thought it was the right way to do it. I had to do the same things I always did because I thought they were the only right way to do them. Whenever I would bump into something like a chair or a couch, I have to have the same feeling on the other side of my body. I could walk past a chair, bump into it, and have to turn right back around and do the same thing on the other side of my hip. If I don't do it with the same force and the same amount of time, I have to do it again on both sides until it feels right. I still do this, but I hate it. I can't control it because I feel like something will happen if I don't. I can recall the times I've run into something and have had to go back and hit my arm or leg on the opposite side of my body as I did on the other side. I've always wanted to do things even on both sides of my body. I like the feeling and the same look on both sides. When I got into high school, I started doing more compulsions. I began to chew food at the same amount of time on both sides of my mouth. I forced myself to chew the same food the same way on both sides. I would take a bite of food, chew it once or twice on both sides until it was gone. I would have to do the same amount of time on both sides. I still do this when I feel stressed or overwhelmed. As I went through high school, as it got more stressful for me, I started having compulsions more and more. My junior year, I realized all the things I had began doing. When I touched doorknobs, it had to be a certain way. I would have to do it with both hands. I would open a door with my right hand and have to go back and do the same thing, but with my left hand. I didn't understand why I was doing it, but it just felt right to me. Whenever I walk into a room and I see changing and flooring in a different room, I count the number of steps to make sure my feet touch the same floor the same amount of time on each side of both floors. I would walk small or large steps just to make sure they were the same. My newest compulsions have been touching my face and cracking my wrists, neck, and ankles. Whenever I touch my face with one hand, I have to touch my face with the other hand in the exact same place at the same time with the exact same pressure, or I have to do it all over again. I could touch my face on accident and I would have to do the same motion on the other side. I will do this over and over again until it feels right. I also need to crack my wrists, neck, and ankles constantly when I think about it or I get stressed or overwhelmed. I will crack my wrists constantly throughout the day until my wrists feel right. Ever since I got my license, I have to time out the number of minutes it takes to get home or get somewhere. I time out certain points on the trip that I know to take a certain amount of time. I get upset when there are obstacles that cause my timing to be off because it usually makes my arrival time an odd number, which makes me uncomfortable. The thoughts about missing the right time ruminate in my head. My biggest fears for my compulsions have been changing, only doing things on one side, and doing things that end on odd numbers. I deal with my intrusive compulsions daily. I hope they will get better so I can feel normal.